Once again, this is yours truly, D Mecca, representing my girl, ESP Speaks. So sit back, relax, as we take you on a journey. I'm your DJ for the night, D Mecca. You can catch me on Good Morning Soul, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on www.shestheboss.com. But in the meantime, in between time, sit back, relax, as we get ready for today's host, the lovely Miss ESP Speaks.
Good evening and welcome to ESP and Jack Speaks. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here with you. We hope that you like the new change. Many have sent in a correspondence to us and said, can you go to Sunday? Because Saturday is so full. So we're here. We went to Sunday. We actually kind of like it as well. As you've noticed, Jax is not here this evening because she had a prior engagement, but she sends her love and sends all her very best. In view of that, we're going to dispense with our normal political chat section because I have nobody to chat with. But it's all for the best because we want to jump straight into tonight's subject, which is preparing for the possible while preparing for the inevitable. And that sounds like a heavyweight subject, and it is, but we need to address it. And there are a couple of things that are beneficial for us to deal with in life because it's about insurance. But I have some really amazing information for you, and you'll be allowed to ask questions and so on. And just some wonderful things for you to connect with that will help us address our finances and dealing with generational wealth and also dealing with the issue of death in a very smart fashion. So let's just jump right in here. I have a wonderful guest this evening. Her name is Marguerite Daniels, and they're waiting for her to connect. So as soon as I get the word, we will go forward with that. But in the meantime, I hope you're having a wonderful week. This is Restaurant Week. It's Saturday the 31st. They were originally supposed to end today, but I was told that they opted to extend, which is why we're going to be running a commercial on it. So make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper so you can write down the website. Some really amazing deals. We've actually tried a couple of new restaurants, and all the restaurants that are participating in this year's Restaurant Week, all the meals are $21.20. It's pretty cool. And they're all takeout. So if there's any restaurants that you wanted to try and for whatever reason you haven't tried them, or there are a couple, there are about 576 restaurants total. So we're going to have that listing for you as well. Have some fun with it, enjoy it, and you're helping somebody out, which is always a great thing. Anyway, so I'm getting word that she's getting. We're good. We're good. All right, so we're ready to go to Zoom. I cannot wait to introduce you to this wonderful personality. She is a friend of mine, such a dear friend of mine for years and years now, although she doesn't look it. Please welcome Marguerite Daniels. Hey, darling.
Hi, ESP and family. How are you today?
Oh, I'm wonderful now that you're on because I know that you're here and we can get the right information and set the family on the straightaway. Because I've explained to them
Hmm.
that although they're afraid to advance forward and look at these wonderful tools in the insurance realm, they
Yes,
should not be afraid. So I'm
absolutely.
bringing them you, someone who I trust, someone who is knowledgeable, and someone who I know will lead them in the right directions. So, dear, please underline and tell them, because I've been trying, but they're going to hear from you, how important insurance is and all of the other benefits that are attached to it that they're not aware of.
Well,
Let's start with life.
yes, yes. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for, being awesome and being such an advocate for this very, very important subject matter. You say that you've been talking to your family so many times about the importance of having life insurance. You can imagine how frustrating it can be for me as well, because I'm in the industry and I see so many of us family not insured, but not even really willing to have the conversation. Everyone knows that they need life insurance, but it's a subject matter that deals with your mortality, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And people don't want to talk about that. They can't even fathom a world without their existence. But, baby, guess what? There's two definite things that happen in this life, and one of them is taxes, the other one is death. We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it, and we have to prepare because it is inevitable. But
Yes, and family, we're tired of doing GoFundMe's and fish fries to bury y'all. So please get a pen and listen to what our lovely insurance advocate has to say.
you're absolutely right. That is the most frustrating thing. The GoFundMe's and the fish fries. Okay, I get it when the time comes, but everyone that is listening us to us today has an opportunity to make sure that they don't put their family in that position. People who
That's right.
purchase life insurance have people that they love. And that's the bottom line. But at the end of the day, insurance can take care of not only just burial, but things that you need to take care of while you're here among the living. It can be a tool, a financial tool, ESP, for investment opportunities, retirement, college planning, long term care planning, health, disability. People just don't realize that there are living benefits as well as the inevitably death benefit that life insurance provides. We can't be afraid to have the conversation. Have it. It's not terribly expensive. The earlier you have the conversation, the better off financially you are. One of the things that I share with people, especially people of color, we tend to purchase so many things that we really don't need. If you just think
Girl,
about sacrificing one thing, and maybe not even sacrifice, maybe just taking a hard look at money that you spend on absolutely nothing, and then realize putting it into something that's going to possibly create generational wealth for your children's children. Investment
but Marguerite, it's something as simple, and this is something that I tell them all the time. Pennies a day can be the difference in your life. when you remember when we used to go to McDonald's, and but that was before the 99-cent menu and all of that nonsense. McDonald's cost you for a family $10, maybe
For a
10
family.
for a
Now,
family. Now $10 can't even cover one person. But let's take that. You go to McDonald's on a regular basis, family. Some of my family members are still going to McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and all of this. And I want to bring it back to something this simple. You go to McDonald's and you drop $32, you don't even blink.
and why
It
not take that
costs,
same $32 and put it in a term policy?
but it's less than that. Okay. See, now let's really jump into this. Tell them in terms of life insurance, there are different types of policies. You have whole life, you have term life, you have this, you have that. There are hundreds of them. But give them the basic breakdowns and let them see how that works for them and what that does. And then we'll move through because I really want them to get this information because they don't believe me when I talk. Hopefully they're going to believe you when you say
Well,
it.
hopefully they believe us. We're a tag team of two, okay?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we can always share personalized information to all interested parties. But let's go back to the different types of life insurance, right? I often get asked, what is the best type of life insurance? The answer to that is the life insurance that's in force when you pass away. And it doesn't matter what kind it is. But there are different kinds of life insurance depending on what your budget needs are, depending on what your financial goals are. We can, talk about those different types. Most people are very familiar with term life insurance, right? So term life insurance is temporary life insurance. And I say temporary because you purchase it for a specific period of time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. And it tends to be the most affordable. So if we're talking about someone with limited financial means, but they know the importance of having insurance because they have children, they have family members that they want to just make sure that, God forbid, if anything happens to them, that there are resources to take care of their final expenses, but budget is an issue, term probably can fit very nicely. So term is just insurance for a period of time. There's no financial benefit for the insured, which means you cannot borrow on it. It just simply is protection in the event that you pass away prematurely or within that time period, right?
And I might add that these time periods that she's referring to are the most stressful time periods of your life. So for all you younger families that are building and having children, and you're in a high energy job or you're driving a lot, that's why you have the term because they actually pay out larger as well. Sorry for the interruption, dear.
Well, you know what, the wonderful thing about term is this. Term gives the average person to purchase a lot of insurance for a very manageable premium. And just as you mentioned, ESP, what is very relevant when we're young, when we're having children, is that family that you've decided to have is now your financial responsibility for the next 18 to 25 years. So if you think about it, right? If you're bringing home $50,000 a year and you're 30 some odd years old, if you take that $50,000 and times it by the amount of years that you are going to be working or at least taking care of your family, believe it or not, you're bringing millions of dollars
That's right.
to the table. So you have to protect that income because just as she mentioned, what happens? You're driving every day and God forbid something happens and you don't come home that night. That's that $50,000 that now your family will not have. So we have to think about those things, replacing our income. And because your insurance need is high when you're young, it makes sense to purchase a term policy because you can get 500,000, a million, $2 million, which I would like to add ain't really no money, right? Because if you think about it, if you have young children, more than one, two, three, even just one, and something happens to you prematurely, think about the amount of money that you will need to take care of that child: clothing, food, education. It's daunting, right? So term makes sense for individuals who have those financial obligations, but very limited resources, because we are taking care of our family, right? We do have mortgages to pay and rent to pay and food to buy and clothes to buy. We have all of those obligations, but we're also obligated to make sure that if we can't do it, that it gets done
There's something
anyway.
there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that's a term policy. Term is temporary. It's like renting insurance for a specific period of time. Once that time period is over, the insurance is over unless you've made other arrangements. And you can also have policies, term policies, that automatically convert at your request to something permanent. So term life, as I shared with you, is temporary. On the other end of the spectrum is permanent life insurance. Permanent life insurance can be whole life, and there's other types of permanent life insurance. But most of us family are familiar with whole life. And whole life is the Cadillac of insurances, right? It has all of the bells and whistles. It has the living benefits that I alluded to earlier in our conversation. But more importantly, it's insurance that you cannot outlive. So that's extremely important to know, because term is temporary. Whole life is good for your whole life, right? So there's some things about whole life that makes it very attractive, in addition to it being permanent coverage. It builds cash value. And that's super important because it is a forced savings plan, right? You have an opportunity to acquire assets in your life insurance so that when there's a financial need, right? Let's say it's time for the kids to get off to school and you're looking for resources to help with their tuition, or maybe you need to buy a car, or maybe you need to buy a house, or maybe you just need to go on vacation. And we're looking for resources to take care of those endeavors. Well, guess what? If you were smart enough to have purchased a whole life policy, or a policy that has cash accumulation, you have that financial tool to help you out with those life events. Now, one of the challenges of whole life can be price, right? So, as I shared with your audience or family, term typically is the most affordable. Permanent whole life typically tends to be the most um, expensive, right? So it's super important that if you decide that you're going to have a conversation about life insurance, and you really want to have a permanent conversation of a conversation about permanent life insurance, the earlier the better.
Mhm.
Why? Because the younger we are, the healthier we are, right? Because life insurance premium means payment. The life insurance premium is based on not only the dollar amount that you're purchasing, right? But your age and your health and your lifestyle. All of those things drive the price either down or up. So it makes sense that if you're young and you're healthy and you have no medical challenges, now's the time to have that conversation about having a life insurance policy. And if it's affordable, certainly you want to have a permanent life insurance conversation, because once you purchase that policy and you are a preferred candidate, and preferred just means that you're healthy and you're super healthy, as a matter of fact, you're going to get the best price for your age group, and you secure that price for the rest of your life. So that is really, really important. Okay.
Marguerite, I want to go back on a point that you made and just touch something very briefly.
Mhm.
You were explaining the cumulative cash value. I want to make sure that the family understands that you have to be religious with your payments. You need to be on time, because when you call them and ask for this money, also you have to pay in a certain amount of time. I believe it's 2 years, according to New York State, that you have to be paying in before they access any cash value for you.
Well, It's not a mandate, but most policies, see, one thing, especially if I'm sitting with clients and I know that permanent life insurance is going to definitely be a benefit for them, people only hear what's attractive to them, right?
Exactly.
And they hear cash value accumulation. They hear you can borrow on the policy, and all of that is true. But remember, life insurance is a tool to protect your family in the event you pass away.
And this is where I'm going because they heard the cash value. They heard all of the things that you said. And I really want to underline this for a moment.
Mhm.
If you are going to access the cash value of a policy past the required time that it takes for you to do that, family, if you're going to take the money, don't take it for a vacation. Yes, you might take it to help pay for your daughter's wedding or something along that line, a child going to school. But if you're going to take money out to go invest in the stock market or to build more money. We so often take things to go buy other things. This policy is part of your death benefit. Now, let me give you a quick example and then I'm going to ease back and let Marguerite get back to talking about what she's talking about. If you
Okay.
have a 20, I'm going to keep it minimum,
Yeah.
family. If you have a $20,000 policy and you borrow $5,000, you have 15 left. Suppose you die next year and you're not finished paying back that 5. You have less of an amount of money for your family to do what they need to do. So be very careful with the cash value opportunity. However, if you took that $5,000 and invested it in Amazon and the stock split again and you made 3 million, then it's okay. All right, Margaret.
You know what? I think I'm going to hire you to be one of my partners because you're so
Hey,
passionate about life insurance. But you know what? It's so important, everything that you just said. Now, one thing that I do want to touch on, because yes, there are opportunities for you to take cash out of the policy, and I'm going to put a pin in that for a minute. But one thing that you said was very interesting, taking money out of your life insurance policy to make an investment. There are life insurance policies that have an investment component, right? So whole life is sort of like a savings account, but it's sort of like a regular savings account that you go to the bank, you open up a savings account, you pay your money, and it acquires interest, but it's very guaranteed. There's guarantees associated with whole life policies. There are permanent life insurance policies that have investments built into the policy.
I
So,
wanted to do the easy ones for them to get used to it and get their feet wet.
yes, yes.
Since
So
we're here, go ahead.
I would say that if you are thinking about investing and we're looking at purchasing a policy for that opportunity, whole life may not necessarily be the right
Right.
permanent policy for you, but it's still an opportunity for you to take advantage of life protection and an investment vehicle. So, just to kind of circle back to the different types of life insurance, we were making it very, very easy: term, temporary, whole, permanent. But there are variations of life insurance that do different things: universal policies, variable policies. Those are life insurance policies that have a little bit of a flair to it that you could actually dictate to last maybe longer than a term policy will last. Build cash value, invest in Amazon, do all of those wonderful things that we were just talking about. Another thing that
So,
I,
Marguerite, I'm going to
yes,
ask you to take a breath there because, again, I could hear 80 of our family members going, oh, I got to talk to this woman. So, family, let me put you out of your misery right now because I'm going to put this up on the board as we normally do. Her
yes,
name, once again, is Marguerite Daniels. Her number is 917-769-9865.
yes,
She also has a .com. Now I want you to stay with me. Get your pen, get your paper.
yes.
It's MARGUERITE. DANIELS S Insurance. Now, if you can't spell insurance, I can't help you. .com. We will put this up in the chat board so you'll be able to look at it before you leave the show. We will also put it on the main site, and we'll put a business card with her picture. So if you missed it, all you have to do is look for that, because I know, Marguerite, I had to stop here because I know I can hear them going, oh my Lord, and I'm gonna forget.
You know
And I
your
hope she says
family. You know your family very well. They're like, let's wait. How can I just get in touch with her and talk about all of this?
that's it. Because you had a whole list of things there that they got excited about. But while we're out, let me
Yes.
also do this.
Yes.
Family, you're listening to us on Facebook Live right now. You might be on Periscope. You might be on YouTube Live. You might be on Twitch Live, or you might be on Instagram. But I'm going to try to keep this show short and full of information. However, if you can't stay with us for the whole time, you can go back and catch us again on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Once again, we're on the YouTube page. Please click and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. We're also on Anchor Podcast. We're on Breaker, Radio Public, Twitch, Stitch, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. You can also send us a quick email at esp@espspeaks.com, or you can get us on our Instagram page at ESP Real Talk, or we're on Twitter at ESP Speaks. Okay, I need a breath now.
All right.
Back to you, my dear.
So one of the things that I want to make sure that I'm very clear about, because we talked about life insurance, we talked about the different types of life insurance, we talked about the importance of doing it as early as possible, income protection, early as possible, simply because it can help keep the cost of life insurance down. But maybe the boat passed us by. Maybe we're already 45, 50, and maybe we may not necessarily be in the best of health. One of the things I don't want you family to be scared off and thinking, maybe I don't qualify, right? One of the challenges that I have a lot of times is people will dismiss me simply because they say, I smoke, I'm diabetic, I had cancer in the past. You know, those challenges can be overcome in a life insurance. So don't be so quick to think that you do not qualify for insurance, especially if you're 50 or older. All right. Because listen, at the end of the day, life insurance price is driven by age, health, and lifestyle. But once you hit 50, there are opportunities available for you to take a life insurance policy where none of that matters. You can be in the poorest of health. You can have been challenged with cancer. You're not going to be denied an application because there are certain types of insurance called guaranteed issue. And it is exactly what it sounds like. Your issuance is guaranteed. So there is no more excuse, family, for not taking advantage of a life insurance policy. You have the opportunity when you're young to get a nice low price. I know that we've all seen those commercials. LaToya purchased a $500,000 policy for $15 a month. Family, that's real, but it's real under certain circumstances. Always take a look at the bottom print, or better yet, just call me, okay?
There you go.
But those prices are real, but they're also under the most ideal circumstances. LaToya is 20. LaToya weighs $150, if not more. No body fat. LaToya doesn't smoke. Is that most of us? Well, maybe not. Right? So at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you know that there are still opportunities for you to take advantage of a life insurance policy, protect your family, build cash value, build wealth, have investment opportunities, right? And then when you close your eyes, you know that your family does not have to post GoFundMe or fish fries to take care of you the way you are deserving to be taken care of. And that's really the point I want to get across.
Wow. That was just so well melodically put. You've been doing this. How many years have you been doing this, Marguerite?
Well, since I'm 25, I have to say that I started
Okay.
at 5. I was a prodigy child at 5. Yeah,
Woo!
I have been doing I've been in the financial industry for more than 30 years. My focus has been on insurance for the last 15 years. And I have to tell you, what has driven my passion is the very thing that frustrated you at the beginning of your show. Having to have conversations with people who don't have life insurance. And now we're trying to figure out a way to make sure that our family bury our loved one with dignity. It should not have to be something that's forced upon us. It's something that should be family driven. Your children should understand life insurance from their parents, like our parents made sure to instill it in us, and so on and so on. For some reason, the importance of life insurance has not been really communicated to our community. And we need to change that. We need to make sure that just like getting car insurance, just like getting homeowners insurance, just like getting renters insurance, you should be getting life insurance. If you big and bad enough to have that baby, you big and bad enough to have an insurance policy to make sure that that baby gets taken care of. Stop thinking having a baby is cute or matching at the mall.
You know, that last bit of information that you said is so poignant, and that is the reason why I have this show.
Mhm.
As a collective, as a people, family, you know, I'm talking to you now. And I try not to get preachy every week when I boil it down to this. We need to start paying attention. For so many years, and we talked about this last week and we talked about it the week before, the Jim Crow mentality and the excuses that we can have to stay locked into the information. We know where we come from. We know what has happened. I'm not asking you to forget all of the things that we've been up against as a people. I'm not asking you to forget. The Jewish people remember the Holocaust every day. We talk about slavery, it's a problem. I'm asking you to remember, but I'm also asking you to pick yourself up and move forward, because we need to start doing for ourselves. We need to start empowering ourselves. When children of other persuasions are in school and their parents are sending them to the finest schools, they're teaching them these tools and instilling from small. We're now getting this information as adults. We got to play catch up. So I'm trying to make sure that you have the most information as possible and give you an advocate to help connect you to the information. So please, family, don't make me just read a number or read a.com over the air. Really pick up the phone. And I want her to call me and say, ESP, 85 people called me last week and they all said ESP said to call. I want you to inundate her.
Yes.
I want you to ask questions. It doesn't matter if you make the policy right away. The fact is, you picked up the phone, you said, I heard the show, and you said something. Can I set up an appointment with you and can we talk? I guarantee you that even if you're making less than $18,000 a year, even in this pandemic situation, even if you make $500,000 a year, she will take the time to find what is right for you. But you gotta pick up the phone and go and get it.
You know, that was perfectly said. And that's one of the things that I do like to convey to your family. If it's just information, it's fine. If you make $10,000 a year, it's fine. it doesn't matter what level of finances you are dealing with. There is a plan that is good for you. And I don't make the distinction between a $10 premium, $100 premium, or $1,000 premium. What is important to me is that you took the step to protect your family. Let me tell you, I was speaking to one of my seniors, and she was interested in purchasing a policy, but her funds are limited. As we all well know, that once we retire, our finances are limited. We're on fixed incomes. But it was so important to her to have a life insurance policy. And here she is, 60 some odd years old, just now talking about it. And she could really only afford a $10,000 policy. And I could feel the hurt in her voice because she knew that $10,000 wasn't really going to be enough. And one thing that I want to say to you, family, is something is absolutely better than nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely better than nothing.
Wow.
Now, one of the things that I also want to share with you, family, is that life insurance, as we already discussed, is a financial tool. But that tool can also be not only cash value accumulation for future endeavors, like we talked about, college planning for your children, purchasing a house, all of those wonderful things that we spoke about. The living benefits for cash value accumulation is great. But what happens if you become disabled, right? And being disabled means, I'm not working anymore. So how do I benefit? Well, guess what? Your life insurance, if you pick the right type of policy, can give you money in your disability to make sure that certain things get paid. Maybe taking care of you. Long-term care insurance is something that a lot of us consider until we find out how much it costs. And they'll say, oh, my daughter will take care of me. Oh, my son will take care of me. But family, do you really want your daughter changing your diaper?
And you haven't met my daughter. So, and on that note, if you want to find out more about long-term care, you're going to have to wait till after the commercial. So, family, we'll be here. This is ESP Speaks. We're here with Marguerite Daniels. We're going to take a quick break and come on back for long-term care. We'll be back in a moment. Yep.
When I'm performing, never boring. Now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face, looking like I'm from the deep. These no Cartiers, pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us.
At Melba's Born, Bred, and Buttered in Harlem, this is what you get for Restaurant Week to go this year. A main dish of smothered chicken or fried catfish, plus 2 sides of collard greens and mac and cheese, plus a slice of Make You Wanna Holler carrot cake. It's all for $20.21 in the biggest Restaurant Week to go in its 29-year history. 570 restaurants in all, 200 more than last year in all 5 boroughs, including 78 in Brooklyn, 45 in Queens, 19 in Staten Island, and 17 in the Bronx.
I'm not really surprised. I am happy that the numbers are up. As restaurateurs and as people who work in the food and beverage industry, we take care of each other. And this is a time that we really needed and wanted to come together to support not just the restaurant and the eateries in the city, but a city that we love so much.
At a time when industry officials estimate 1/3 to 1/2 of all New York City restaurants could close permanently because of COVID unless they get federal help, the head of the NYC Hospitality Alliance says there is no reason to feel guilty at getting a bargain price to eat at home this coming Restaurant Week.
It's a great time to go and support your restaurant. No one should feel guilty. Just the act of buying food from a restaurant, you can know that you're supporting local businesses to give them a fighting chance of survival. Just make a really nice tip if you can.
Happy birthday to you. Hey.
Outdoor dining were celebrating birthdays on this frigidly cold day. Many wished they were getting those bargain prices now instead of starting tomorrow.
I love Restaurant Week. Such a great opportunity to get great deals for good prices. And I definitely enjoy eating out.
That's phenomenal and far cheaper than what it is in Boston. Usually it's about $36 for the same amount of food. So God bless New York.
And we're back, family. Thanks for returning. This is ESP, and I'm sitting with Marguerite Daniels, insurance professional. And if you were here before the break, we were talking about long-term care. So we're going to jump right back in with that, Marguerite.
Okay. So long-term care is the type of insurance that folks will purchase to make sure that if they became disabled, if they couldn't function on their own, if they couldn't technically, what it is if you cannot perform two activities of daily living, you trigger long-term care benefits, right? So long-term care benefits means getting some help with toileting, dressing, maybe you need some assistance, home care, maybe unfortunately nursing home needs. Those things can be quite expensive. In New York, if you're thinking about long-term care needs, it typically will run anyone between $100 to $300 a day.
Wow.
A day for long-term care needs. And when I say that, the $300 per day is if you have to go into a nursing home. Well, guess what, family? If you have a conversation with an insurance professional like myself, and if that's something that, kind of lingers as a concern, you can actually take out a life insurance policy that protects your life. God forbid you die prematurely. Builds cash value, so for those life unexpected events that you might need some financial resources for, right? Retirement, college, weddings, we talked about that. But in the event that you become disabled and you cannot perform or take care of yourself, guess what, family? The life insurance that you purchased, the face amount that you purchased, a portion of that can be used to take care of yourself, to get a home health aide in to help you out with some chores or offset the cost for nursing care. And that's super important, especially for you folks that may have assets, right? Because if you go into a nursing home, right, it is so expensive. So you're going to start to have to ask questions about Medicaid and the resources that are available to help pay for those rehabilitation costs. But guess what? If you got any money in the bank, poof, gone. If you have a house, poof, gone, right? So if you have assets to protect, and this is a concern for you, life insurance that has a long-term care component is a great solution to incorporate in your insurance portfolio. And also having a conversation about your health needs, right? Once you become eligible for Medicare, it's super important for you to sit down with someone and go over the different options of healthcare to make sure that you have the right Medicare plan. Basic Medicare, super expensive, right? And it only takes care of a portion of your healthcare needs. So it's super important that you sit down when we're talking about insurance, when we're talking about protecting our assets, when we're talking about protecting the most precious asset that we have, which is our health, right? Having a conversation about your health care, your Medicare needs, what's really important to you is super, super important. And there's different plans and programs depending on what you need in terms of your level of care in helping selecting the right Medicare supplement or advantage plan. So that's something else, family, that I work with my clients with. So I just try to cover the plethora of needs that we have when it comes to insurance. And I just want to convey to you, family, that insurance doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a hard conversation. Not only will it take care of what we need, the inevitable of death, but the possible, the home buying, the college planning, the investment strategies, retirement planning for what could be possible, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So insurance can do that, and you can all do it with just one policy. Believe it or not, it can be done.
Woo, Whew. And there you go, family. Planning for the possible, preparing for the inevitable. Wow. Mark, I can sit here all day and just listen to you. In fact, I have on several occasions. And you notice I was just transfixed. It's always a joy when I have, because you mean something to me on so many different levels. We've been together since we were kids.
Yes.
So
yes.
to see you grow this business and to see how far we've both come, it's a joy because so many of us are gone.
Isn't that true? Oh my goodness.
And I'm not just talking about COVID. I'm talking about the age group that we're in, the lifestyles as we were growing up, we were affected by, the drugs, the gangs, the whole 9 yards. And we survived. And to see you become this, from Girl Scouts to this professional.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, family. I had to laugh because she's so right. We were in Girl Scouts together. And she was one of the counselors.
Oh, wow.
All right.
We ain't trying to show the
I've
age.
been doing this business 25 years. I started when I was 5.
They're going to start counting. There you go. Oh my goodness, what a joy. Thank you for sharing this beautiful gift. Last week I did a show on them making themselves happy and finding things that would make them happy. And one of the steps is you have to do something for yourself and take care of your health.
Yeah.
Family, this is one of the biggest gifts that I could ever give you, the gift of insurance and knowledge. Please, as I wrap things up here, I got to drive this home. You must give her a call. If she's not able to pick up, leave a message. She will call you back. This is a passion, not just a job.
Absolutely.
This is something that she lives to help people achieve their goals and their dreams. So you cannot find a better professional to help you with this. I'm going to put her information up on the board, as I said before. I'm going to have her say it for herself one more time, and then we're going to tie things up because we're pushing time and we got to get out of here. So Marguerite, give me that phone number one more time.
Well, before I do that, I just want to thank you so much for the platform to be able to convey, because you're absolutely right. This is a passion of mine. I try to make it as pleasant and as light as possible, but family, it is so super important. So just as ESP said, I am challenged because I do speak to a lot of people every day. My life is my phone, so that's how I communicate with all of my wonderful clients. I try to give everyone the attention that they deserve. So if you do call me and get my voicemail, please, family, leave a message. I promise you, I will get back to you. So my telephone number again is 917-769-9865. 917-769-9865. And you can also visit my website, which is just my first name and my last name, MargueriteDanielsInsurance.com. Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And family, we're going to see you next time. We're going to tie it up. I got to get out of here. You're always a blessing. And you know what I'm going to say. Be positive, test negative. We'll see you next time on ESP Speaks. Have a good night.